Yo, what's good? Stu here, Stu TV. I cover all things blockchain, metaverse, crypto, NFTs, all money making opportunities in the space. And in this video, I just wanted to cover my selection minting process when it comes to evaluating and minting NFTs. So it could be a very complicated concept as far as minting NFTs, deciding which ones you mint, how to evaluate upcoming mints, upcoming plays that's going on in the space. And I just want to break down just my selection process and hope this helps you in your process and many NFTs and just building a level of simplicity and breaking it down in a way that you can get clarity going forward in the space. Anyway, let's just get straight into this video. Just going to the whiteboard. So there's three main points that I just want to get into this video when it comes to your selection process of minting NFTs. Your first section is going to be your prospect section. And I'm going to break all these things down going forward in the video just individually, but I'm just going through a general overview right now. Your first section in your selection process is your prospect section. So your prospect section is just all the NFTs that you're going for. So you have whitelist prospects, NFTs that you're going for. This is where you're going to put them in a folder. So you're actually going to group those NFTs, have those NFTs together. These are projects that you are scouting, like a college coach would scout an athlete that they want to come to their college, where they go watch them play. As far as what they say in the papers, rating it at a 4 or 5 star. Do they live up to the building? Can they catch a ball? Like, how fast can they run? Do they have good court vision? Can they run plays? Are they quarterback of the offense? So you're kind of evaluating these projects like that. You're asking about the white paper, about the roadmap. As far as the tokenomics, do they think it's sustainable going forward? It's not just having inflating token, but just have a token that has real world use case outside of this inflationary asset. So there's a lot of different things that you're kind of asking as far as about the project, getting into it, getting on AMAs, getting on Twitter Spaces, just things like that, learning about the project, because you're evaluating this project, whether it's a go for you. It's like, wow, I really want this project. I really want to go forward. This is a great project. It has a lot of hype in the space. It's trending. And then that's where you just get your list of prospects. So you might just be going, let's just say, for example, you're going for project A, you're going for 5 projects, project B, and then for number 3, project C, 4, D, and then E for 5. So you got projects A through E that you're going for. Let's say projects A and B, they're very high projects in the space. The roadmap is good, the utility is good, they're trending on Twitter, they did everything the right way, they're on YouTube, they're on different AMAs, they're connecting with all the top groups in the space. They just have a well notoriety and reputation just amongst the space. It's a must mint. Everybody's hype, everybody's excited about it. It's one of those top projects. Those projects A and B. And let's say with projects C and D, project C and D, they're more your mid-tier projects. They're projects that if you have time to go for it, and even with your evaluating your prospect section, you want to have all your top projects. Those are the projects you're going to go after first that you want to get whitelist for. Just depending on the time and how much time is left getting early into those projects, and there's just a strategy just within that. But just with the mid-tier projects, those are projects you want to go for second. The best projects in the space and the ones that you really want, those are the projects you go for first in the space. The projects that everybody, the other projects that everybody's popular and heavy in. So once you get into 3 and 4, 3 and 4 is kind of your mid-tier projects. You might be finding a diamond in the rough. It just might be a great opportunity. So you can kind of go for a lot of these mid-tier projects that, you know, might have some hype around the space. They've been on a couple of AMAs. They're not really consistent with Twitter Spaces. The roadmap is good. There's some questions about the utility, but the founders is kind of an active Discord. This is kind of mid-tier. So you'll kind of be judging and evaluating, and you'll be able to get used, and you'll see this common pattern and theme as far as evaluating and knowing what to look for as you get more experience into the space. And then let's say E is just a bad project, and this, let's say the roadmap is really bad, or let's say don't even have a website together. They just have a Twitter and Discord, and they kind of keep delaying a lot of announcements. They're saying they're going to do this, and they're not executing on a lot of things that they say, even already at the beginning of this project. Just they're not really consistent at all. They're not on Twitter Spaces. They're not doing any marketing. That's kind of where, you know, a project where you might want to just put that, if you have time to go for other projects above this one, then I would use your time there on those projects. So then once it gets to the prospect section, then you're going to get into your whitelist section. I can't believe I didn't spell that. Let's actually delete that. But you're going to actually get into your whitelist section. So I'm going to delete that, go back, get into your whitelist section. So with your whitelist section, this is where you have your whitelist folder. So just going back, you have the whitelist prospects. Now you got the whitelisted projects. So these are all projects that you're whitelisted for, projects that you're going for in the space. You already evaluated these projects. So let's say with your whitelist projects, projects A and B, they definitely are coming over just because they're top 2 projects in the space. 3 and 4, C and D actually make the cut as far as, so you got levels A through D as far as all these projects, and level E didn't really make the cut. And there's different variables. It might not always be a project you wanted to get into. It could have been a project that you really wanted to get into, or just a project that could have been a mid-tier project that you was like, yeah, if I get the time, I really want to get that project as well. As far as whitelist, the date to get the whitelist, so you had to buy another NFT to get registered on the whitelist. And it could be a project that you really want, but you just don't have the ability, or you might not have a liquidity, enough funds to actually go get the first collection of the NFT to get registered for the second collection to have automatic whitelist. And that might be the only way to get into the project. So it's not just always it's a bad project or you don't want the project. It could be you really want to get into the project, but your just ability, either the timing as far as the timetable to get into that project or just the requirements to get into that project, will allow you not to be able to get in the NFT as far as the whitelist. 4 out of 5 with the whitelist folder. So that's a good ratio. So you got the majority of the NFTs that you wanted. You may not got all the NFTs just because you can't get in every project. So you just got to kind of move forward with the whitelist that you have and just keep update with those projects. So with your whitelisted folder, you already verified your wallet for those projects. You get into those projects, and then you're seeing it. Now it's time for the start of your evaluation process. So here's how you're going to start evaluating these NFTs as far as figuring out truly whether you want to mint and just making an educated decision in the space and a calculated decision in the space just going forward. So the first thing I want to go over is I want to go over like drop size ratio. So this is where you come in, where you have your follow the drop size ratio, and this is crucial just going forward with projects. So just going on to the next part of this video, you want to have follow the drop size ratio. So drop size ratio is basically like the Discord following versus the supply. The supply is how many NFTs in total will be minted in that collection sequence. So these are the only 3,333 pieces are going to be minted versus like 77 people in the Discord. And just going back, just being able to evaluate. So that's one of the first things that you'll look for when you're evaluating these whitelisted prospects. They'll have to be announced dates as far as they'll announce the collection size and how many pieces. So this is where you're going to start doing your math and doing your numbers and start evaluating. So let's say a project is going to have a 10,000 piece collection. So let's say it's a 10,000 piece collection. With the 10,000 piece collection, let's say there's 2,000 people in the Discord. So 2,000 people in the Discord versus a 10,000 piece collection. So obviously, like if they're gonna have like this many people, they're gonna mint multiple NFTs, and everybody's gonna have to mint the multiple NFTs just to mint out this project. So everybody's gonna have to have money to contribute in multiple whitelists at that. As far as tiers, you have to mint 10 or 20 NFTs and just everybody. So the chances, the likelihood, just even with this off alone, might not be a good chance that it might be minted out. But just going forward, just an outrageous number to illustrate in this video. Let's say it's going to be 900 ADA. So it's 900 ADA for every individual NFT is 900 ADA. So we go do the calculator. We times 0.24 with Cardano at 24 cents with the current time of this recording. So we go to that and we times 0.24 times 900. You're going to get $216 USD. So it's $216 USD just going forward. So when it comes to like the 900 ADA, it's going to have $216. $216, we're going to times that by the 10,000. Once you times that by the 10,000, that's $2.1 million USD. $2.1 million USD. So that's important just because it's going into actual tracking NFT marketplace volume. So this is a website that you can go. You can go to OpenSeaNFT.io. Once you go to this website, you can click and you can see like the 24-hour volume. So it can be 24 hours, 30 days, 7 days, all time. You can just look at so many parts of the chart last year, just projects that's been booming, how we've been up in the space. So this is a chart. This is a good tool to use as far as analytics, evaluating projects going forward. But anyway, let's just go over the past day or so. We're at 1.3. We're at 1.7 million ADA worth of volume. So let's calculate, and we go 1.7 million ADA worth of volume times 0.24. 400K USD. So that's 400K USD as far as dollars. Now let's go back in times that same 2.1 million. So we're going to go 2 million, 2.1 million times 0.24, 500K USD. 100K more USD than the entire floor. It's just one project versus the entire floor. The reason that's important is just because unless it's a hype project like a Cornucopias, Clay Nation, or a project that's super trended on a tear like Mallet Order, unless it's a hype project to be able to command that, we're going to show up and Clay Nation's going to miss something. Even though they require like a lot of ADA, we're still going to show out to this project. We're still going to show up. And this is a very exaggerated illustration, but just to show you that you want to know your numbers as far as going in, because most projects are not going to charge over 900 ADA, $200 USD just for their first minute, first piece collection, and make it 10,000 to drop. The chances of seeing that type of project charge that amount of ADA and charge that just starting out is highly unlikely in the space. So you'll see way lower numbers. This is the illustrated point in this video as far as doing your numbers and doing your calculations and actually figuring out in the space. So that's just one way to figure out as far as calculated guesses. You're going to have that multiple and be able to factor in and actually look at the market cap and be like, wow, well, does this number make sense? So you'll take the supply number and then you'll take as far as like the price, multiply the number of ADA that they're asking. If it's 170, if it's 200 ADA, then multiply that by the current price of the Cardano. Once you times that by the current price, and you'll multiply that by the supply as far as just what they're asking and requiring in the space. So that's just one way, just looking into just different projects. Whitelist section. The next thing is just actually getting into the communities. So just getting on the Twitter spaces, just seeing what projects are trending. And once you get into the communities, then you'll just see like a common theme. If it's project A is trending, everybody's in agreement, like that's a must mint. Everybody's going to be hyped for that mint out. It has a good fall to drop size ratio. The number of ADA that they're asking for this project, X, Y, and Z, everything looks good on the charts. And that's a project that you want to go for. And that's a project that's going to continue to the next phase, the next evolution evaluation process. So it just kind of gets in the communities. There's other different things for our Twitter spaces, the talking to people in different communities, asking questions. What's a hype project in the space? If you keep hearing about the same project, that's a sign of confirmation. Also, another thing that you could do is you could also get into alpha groups. So you can join alpha groups, there's different mastermind groups to where they'll give their thoughts and opinions and analysis on different projects, to where they'll show you different minting risks. It might be a 3 out of 10, a 4 out of 10 minting risk, which is very low. Or it could be, you know, an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, or it'd be a 6.5 out of 10. Proceed with caution and different things as far as people giving you their thought process in the space. There's alpha groups that you can join as well for those type of communities, to where you can make an educated decision in confirmation. And nobody's 100% right in the space. This is just things that we could do to just eliminate less guessing out of the equation as possible. But at the end of the day, sometimes it has to do with luck. It's not always just doing the numbers, because there have been projects that's been higher than the whole market cap, but then you can still have an opportunity to flip that NFT. It's depending on what time you're flipping that NFT, you're having the timing, reveal. Just there's so many different factors, but there's no one size fits all for this concept. But this is just to break down better educated decision process just going into it. So just getting with communities, most likely just getting into these alpha groups. If you're interested in them, they are going to cost. You probably have to pay a membership or pay the cost of an NFT to get in these memberships in these alpha groups. But that's just a way on how you can have confirmations going forward into the space along with these things. Like I said, this is not a one size fits all. There's different things. Even like I said before, just with the fall to drop size ratio, they was asking, one project was asking above what the market cap overall, and that project still did relatively well. You had an opportunity to flip. There's anomalies in this space, so you just have to just learn that going forward. So once you go from your whitelist, then you'll get into the minting process. Once you get into the minting process, this is where it's live. So we're going from the whitelist to the minting section. So let's say project A has made it, project B has made it, they're good mints, and project C. So we'll say project A, B, and C. So we're going to go 3 out of 5 as far as 1, 2, 3 as far as project A, and then we're going to get into project B, and then we're going to mint all these 3 projects. So we're going to be looking to mint these projects. Just the fall or drop size ratio didn't match up with D. It was asking too much ADA. There wasn't really enough hype behind the projects. Then you kind of get into 3 out of 5. With the minting process, what you're going to ultimately do is you're going to mint the NFT, or you're going to either watch the floor. So watching the floor is just actually getting into the projects and looking at the floor and then seeing if it's going to go, the number is going to go up or down. You mint an NFT, and the NFT is 70 ADA. So you mint this NFT, or let's say the NFT is 120 ADA. You mint this NFT 120 ADA, and what's times 120 ADA? 120 ADA times 24 cents. That's $28 USD. So you mint an NFT for $28 USD. Once you mint that NFT, then you'll go back and then you'll see where the floor is leaning towards. So now obviously this project, I'm just looking at this project as an example, but if a project was minted live, you would see updated real time. People showing their prices, they're updating, the price is kind of fluctuating with the floor. The floor is just basically just the lowest price. So this number will be fluctuating back and forth if this is actual live mint, because it'd be live on JPEG store. And then it's also a process to just keep refreshing the page, X, Y, and Z. There's tools as far as other things that's going to be revealed in the future where you can see further depth analytics. Not really going to get into that process for this video, but once you do that, you kind of just see there's different things, and then you kind of gauging. So let's say the floor is dropped down to 100, and you're looking at it from the outside looking in, you'll be like, okay, well, I'm just going to see if the floor is going to raise, because if it's under 120 ADA and you're going to mint it for 120 ADA and you're looking at it, then you wouldn't mint this NFT because it's below floor. You might as well just buy it on the secondary while you're looking at it instead of minting the NFT, because you're going to spend that 20 extra ADA. And then also too, you actually look into Cardano Scan. Cardano Scan is a tool where you can actually grab the policy ID. You can actually paste this in. Once you paste this in, you can actually see how many tokens as far as minting versus like the circulation, the full circulation of NFTs, and how many NFTs have actually been minted. So let's say there's 4,000 NFTs, just for example. Let's say there's 4,000 NFTs that need to be minted for this project. With the 4,000 NFTs, if you see it's at 3,000, then you see you still got a little bit of a time window to see, evaluate to see if the floor is going to go up. Let's say it's a 5,000 piece collection. Then you have a little bit more time to evaluate whether you want to get this project. You can still watch the floor. You still got time. But this is like your timer. This is where you gauge, because once this NFT reaches the max and you missed your window to mint out, it can mint fast, it can mint quick. So you just got to be watching the floor and just be very active, looking and seeing like what's going on with this project, whether it's going up and down. And this is where you just start to begin to just have your minting process. Now let's say, just going back, let's say you minted this project for 50 ADA. You mint this project for 50 ADA. Let's go back to the calculator. We go back to the calculator, 0.24 times 50 ADA. 50 ADA is $12. You mint an NFT, you minted an NFT for $12. Then you go to the floor, it's at 50 ADA, it's already jumped up a 2x. So with the 2x, you would definitely mint it. If you have an opportunity to mint 3, you would mint those 3 right away, put them NFTs back up, sell them NFTs at 100 ADA. You just made 2x on each NFT. You just made like a total of like 6x. So you just been up that much in the space. So that's an automatic mint price just going up. But it's all about knowing your numbers when you're going into your mints. Knowing your numbers is going to be very important, because you have to know what are you looking for specifically. Are you looking for a 2x? Are you looking for a 3x? Are you looking for a 5x? Are you looking for a 1.5x, a 2.5x, a 2.75x, a 2 point whatever x, 3 point whatever x? That's very important, just knowing your numbers, knowing the level of multiplier that you want to get into. That way you already calculated. So if you see that you made a project at 50 ADA, it goes up to 100 ADA, you already got your 2x, go ahead and get out of there. Go ahead and sell them NFTs. Even if you have to undercut somebody maybe by like 1 or 2%, obviously just going in, you'll be able to get those gains, get those different things. But that's just like a minting process to where you can actually see just real time. It's a really calculated process and decision making process as far as when you're prospecting, when you're whitelisted, when you're minting. And there's many more just tips outside of this video, but just hopefully this video will give you a base as far as just what to look for going forward and give you just more clarity going on into the space. Okay, so I'm glad that you made it like to the end of this video, and it's just towards the end. I know I said a mouthful and it's just about to be the end, I promise. I'm just getting to this last point that I just want to mention just for this video as far as organizing your folder, as far as whitelist prospects to whitelist whitelisted projects going into your mints. So let's actually go over to the Discord. When you go over to the Discord, you can actually see just all the different projects, and then you can see just the whitelisted prospects and just whitelisted projects. And I actually need to organize this a little bit more as far as getting different projects in different sections. But as you join, just make sure you just keep that folder under control, because this will just give you more clarity going on to the space. But anyway, just going from your whitelisted prospect folder on to your whitelisted project folder. So once you get a whitelisted project right here, this project is ready. It's going to mint today. Well, if it's going to mint today, I'm going to bring this project all the way to the top of my Discord. That lets me know this project is in the spotlight. It's minting today. I need to know, keep up with everything that's going on in announcements, whether it's opportunity to make sure I verify my wallet on time, just different things, any catalyst news I need to know just right before the mint. I'm gonna put this project at the top of the Discord to just let me know any verifications, any notifications, things like that. I'm gonna know about it, because it's not gonna be hiding in the folder where I can't see like the updates as far as anything that's going on, any notification bells. I'll be notified about it. The reason that's important is just to make sure that it's important to verify your wallet. It's not just enough to be whitelisted for a project, but you also have to be verified. You have to verify your wallet. If you don't verify your wallet, then the minting process has nowhere to send your NFTs, because it doesn't know what wallet to send it to. So you have to verify your wallet. The whitelist is just giving you access for the verification for your wallet on basically on the pre-sale. So it's very important that you look for those announcements. Make sure you're double checking, triple checking, especially if it's a hype project. Double checking, triple checking, and making sure that your project and your wallet is verified for that NFT project going forward. Any catalyst news, updates, and this is how you organize. If you know it's a mint date, you keep tracking the mint date. You'll actually go to like CNFT calendar. It's minting on these dates. Okay, it's minting on January 1st, and I go to that server. I click on that server. I bring that server all the way to the top of the Discord. I keep track. I'm ready. You know, I'm in the pre-sale access. What time, UTC time, just mint date, all those type of things is just very important when you're going on to your mints, catalyst news, and just updates in the space. So that's a very organized way and structure. But that is my last point for this video. Like I said, I know I said a mouthful, but it's a lot of things just to go over in the space, and just levels to NFTs, and just so many dynamics and so many things to just get into. But I just hope this video gave you a level of clarity just going forward, and just a better understanding the concept of minting projects in the space. And you can apply this concept to any chain, but my chain of choice is Cardano, of course. But anyways, this is Stu from Stu TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you share the video. Stay tuned for all the future videos I'm gonna drop, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.